Again, brothers and sisters, the Bible is a book of history and witnesses. The prophets are the witness to the New Testament. And when it comes to verses like John 7:35, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? The him is Christ. Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Now you and I know that these dispersed were called Gentiles. But the Christians are like, no, we can agree with you that this dispersed is Israel, but Christ is teaching Gentiles. What? It says, will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles? Now, he's going to the dispersed, not all of the Gentiles, the dispersed among the Gentiles, and teach the Gentiles. Now, here's what we're going to do. Let's go to the history of who's dispersed among the Gentiles first. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel 20:23. It says, I lifted up mine hand unto them, the them is Israel, also in the wilderness, that I would scatter them among the heathen and disperse them throughout the countries. Why? Because they had not executed my judgment, but had despised my statutes, and had polluted my Sabbaths, and the eyes were after their fathers' idols. Now, Israel among the heathen was dispersed. So we know Israel was dispersed among the Gentiles. So the dispersed among the Gentiles were Israelites. Wait. The book of Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 19. And I scattered them among the Gentiles again, and they were dispersed throughout the countries. According to their way and according to their doing, I judged them. What we're doing, brothers and sisters, is we're showing you who was dispersed among the Gentiles. It's written right here. The Israelites were dispersed among the Gentiles. Easy reading. Easy reading. But something happened, though. Something happened that the Christians don't want to admit. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel 20, verse 32. Watch this. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the Gentiles. Look, we will be as the Gentiles. What, according to this verse, makes you a heathen, which is a Gentile? As the families of the countries to serve wood and stone. I want you to pay attention. What the writer of Ezekiel, which is Ezekiel the prophet, wanted us to see was that heathen served wood and stone, which is idolatry. The heathen, which were the Gentiles, were idolaters. What made you a heathen was to serve wood and stone, idolatry. According to the book, that's what happened with Israel. Because when we go to Ezekiel 25, it's a history to this. It's a history to this. Ezekiel 25, verse 8. Let's start in verse 7. Behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and I will deliver thee for a spoil to the Gentiles. And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Watch here, watch this. Thus saith the Lord God, because Moab and Seir, the Mongoloids and the Edomites, say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. So the house of Judah was like unto the heathen, which means they were like unto the Gentiles. Why? Again, why had they become like the Gentiles? Ezekiel 23, verse 32. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone. That's how Israelites became heathen, because they were in idolatry. They were not circumcised in their covenants. Israel had became as heathen. When they were dispersed among the heathen, they were as heathen. That's why, when you go back to John 7:35, John 7:35, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed? Who was those dispersed? Israelites. Israelites among the Gentiles, and teach the Gentiles. Why did they become Gentiles? Because they were in idolatry with them. They were in idolatry with them. That's why Paul says in 1 Corinthians 12:1 and 2, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Even Paul confirms that they were Gentiles because of idolatry, like it says in the Old Testament. The Old Testament and the New Testament agree. Paul called his brethren, which were Jews, Gentiles because of idolatry. Idolatry and uncircumcision made you a Gentile. Quit listening to these idiot of Christians. These guys are the lowest of the low. Lowest of the low. They don't understand. They're lazy. That's why when we go to Ephesians, we go to the book of Ephesians. You can't let these Christians say anything to you. The book of Ephesians. We understand. And we told you before, and we'll tell you again. Ephesians 1:1. Paul, an apostle of the Messiah Christ by the will of God, to the saints. My friend, saints has one meaning, and that's Israelites. Psalms 148:14. You got to understand who the letter is to before you can understand anything else. Who was it to? Psalms. Come on, man. Real quick, Psalms 148. Psalms 148, verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. The saints are the children of Israel. The Christians have no verse that's going to tell you that the saints are anybody from any nation that believes in Jesus. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The saints were the Israelites. So again, when we go to the book of Acts, I'm showing you guys the book of Acts chapter 18. Acts chapter 18. Acts 18 and 19. It says, and he came to Ephesus, Paul, and left them there. But he himself entered into a synagogue and reasoned with the Jews. So the Jews are in Ephesus. The Jews are in Ephesus. His brethren are in Ephesus. That's why when you see the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 1, Paul, an apostle of the Messiah Christ by the will of God, to the saints, that's his brethren. The saints are the Jews which are at Ephesus, and the faithful in the Messiah Christ. The saints were the Jews in Ephesus, like you saw in Acts 18:19. So this letter is written to the Jews in Ephesus. Look what Paul tells them in Ephesians 2:11. Now wherefore remember that ye, the ye is who the letter is to, in times past. Ye, being in times past Gentiles in the flesh. Huh. Paul, with the letter to the saints which are his brethren, in their times past were Gentiles in their flesh. Don't tell us how to read the Bible. The Israelites in their former time in idolatry and uncircumcision were Gentiles. Don't let these Christians hold you up with one verse trying to interpret it. See, that's why I'm going these idiotic lies. They don't know how to teach nor debate. Just call the Bible what it